Some pretty incredible breaking news coming out in the last 24 hours that the United States and NATO, they are preparing nuclear weapons on standby in response to the growing threats they're saying that are coming from Russia and China. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the latest that's come out on this, and we just recently heard from NATO as well in the last 24 hours, as they said that they are considering putting more nuclear weapons on standby, ready to use nuclear weapons against the threat of Russia. And also, we heard just this week from the United States as well, who has said they are planning on deploying more nuclear weapons as well in response to the growing threats from Russia and China. We also heard the allies of Russia and China, and that the breakneck pace at which those nuclear plans are moving forward with our enemies, that the United States is going to have to respond to this. Now, also, what we just heard today, Monday, June the 17th, is we had a response from Russian President Vladimir Putin. Russia is saying that what has unfolded with the United States and NATO discussing nuclear weapons increases and preparations, setting them on standby, that these remarks are an escalation of tensions, Russia is saying. And they are saying that we are at a height right now. We are higher and at a further along point than ever before for potential World War III and all-out war, with the tensions escalating, the increase of the rhetoric of potential nuclear war. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I'm going to be sharing with you the latest information coming out on this, as this has just come out today. Russia's response, as we've seen over the past week, the United States and NATO allies saying that they are preparing more nuclear weapons, pulling them on standby, ready to hit if necessary, should an all-out war and conflict take place. And today, as I mentioned, Russian President Vladimir Putin saying this is the height of tensions that we have seen so far. We're going to be seeing what unfolds. And this just coming out today. I know it's the middle of a day on a Monday, June the 17th, but I wanted to share with you guys the latest breaking information coming out, as this just unfolded today, just a couple hours ago, as we saw this response from Russia. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are we on the brink of World War III? If so, put a 3 in the comments. If no, put a 4 if you think we're going to be able to avoid this. But we're seeing these tensions escalating even further just today, with Russia very aggressive and upset with what has unfolded with the United States and NATO discussing prepping nuclear weapons. Now, in addition to that, do me a favor, as I'm sharing with you this breaking news this morning. There's 950 people live with me in the room. Please do me a favor, hit the like button if you appreciate the updates. All it does is spread this out further so more people can get the latest breaking information. Again, this just coming out within the past couple hours, as this morning we are hearing the response from Russia, and they are saying the United States, NATO, you are escalating the tensions, and we could be facing potential nuclear war, as the United States and NATO are saying, let's go ahead and prep a greater nuclear arsenal of weapons in response to the threats that are currently growing with Russia and China, they mentioned. And as I said, I cite all the sources for you guys. They're going to be linked in the description down below for you, so you can read them from yourself. All you have to do right now is type in NATO nuclear into Google, and you will see all of the articles that have been coming out. And you'll see that over the past 24 hours, there is a response to what the NATO chief had to say. And then just today, you will see in the past 3 hours, the article starting to roll out as Russia's aggressive, very upset response. And they are saying that NATO is escalating the tensions, that they are stirring the pot for potential conflict of nuclear war with Russia. Man, let me know your thoughts. It just seems like there's a back and forth between the two, and it just keeps getting heightened and heightened, the tensions. And I saw all the threes rolling in of people saying they believe that we are on the brink of World War III. So let me go ahead and share with you the latest information. And again, I see we've got 1,114 people with me live in the room. Please hit that like button if you appreciate the updates. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? I'll let you know everything going on. Check to make sure you're still subscribed. I've had a lot of people tell me that they've been unsubscribed from the channel for some reason. Maybe YouTube thinks that it's not real people or something, and they're unsubscribing people. Make sure to stay up to date by subscribing and turning on all notifications. And also thank you to all the people that support the channel by hitting that join button, contributing monthly. I appreciate that a ton. Not necessary, but I appreciate it. And also, as a result of doing that, all of my sources will just automatically pop up in your YouTube feed after every live. But let me go ahead and get you caught up on the latest. As I see, we've almost got 1,200 people with me live in the room, wanting to get the latest information as to Russia today coming out with a response saying that the Kremlin, or Russia saying that NATO's chief with his nuclear remarks is escalating tensions between Russia, NATO, and the United States. Now, this says that Russia said on Monday today that a remark by NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg that the military alliance was holding talks on deploying more nuclear weapons was an escalation of tensions. Stoltenberg told Britain's Telegraph newspaper that NATO members were consulting about deploying more nuclear weapons, taking them out of storage, placing them on standby, ready and in face of the growing threat that is currently coming from Russia and China. Now, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said Stoltenberg's comments appeared to contradict what was issued at the weekend conference in Switzerland that said that any threat or use of nuclear weapons in the Ukraine context was inadmissible. The talks, held at the behest of Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, were billed as a peace summit, although Moscow was not invited. This is nothing but another escalation of the tensions, Peskov said of the NATO Secretary General's remarks. Stoltenberg later said that Russia was trying to create confusion and that his comments referred to the modernization of NATO's nuclear deterrent, including the replacement of the F-16 jets and the F-35s and the modernization of weapons deployed in Europe, which he said has been known for a long time. Russia is trying a way to always also create a situation where they can blame NATO. And the reality is that NATO is transparent, Stoltenberg told reporters on a visit to Washington. So blaming Russia for this. NATO had earlier sought to clarify Stoltenberg's remarks, saying there were no significant changes to its nuclear posture. NATO is committed to ensuring a safe, secure, and effective nuclear deterrent, NATO spokesperson Farah Dalahal said. For that purpose, we have an ongoing modernization program to replace legacy weapons and aircraft, she said. Beyond that, there is no significant changes to our nuclear deterrent. So trying to walk back those statements, but we're hearing it's already too late. Russia is saying it is an escalation of tensions and not happy today. Now, in addition to that, I've already shared with you how the United States has directly said this response as well. So we're hearing this from the chief of NATO, but also I shared with you earlier in the week that the U.S. said that they will be deploying more nuclear weapons, taking into consideration in response to the growing threats from Russia and China. White House aides warned that the tensions that are ahead, that they need to arm further with nuclear weapons as a result of what's unfolding. The United States could deploy more strategic nuclear weapons in response to the growing threat from Russia and China, a senior White House aide has suggested. Now, Pranay Valdi, top National Security Council official, said on Friday, so this was right as we were entering the weekend, just a couple days ago, that the Biden administration was taking a more competitive approach to arms control and believes that the deployment of more weapons is a possibility in the coming years, as they're saying that they need to prepare for what is taking place right now. He said the use of this possible in an exceptional case in the event of a threat of sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country. I don't think that there is a case for this, but there is no such need. Let me see here. Excuse me. Actually, I think I might have read the wrong quote here. On Friday, he noted that while Russia and the United States have advanced earlier warnings of missile systems, much of Europe does not, according to Reuters. And he added that the use is possible in an exceptional case of these weapons in the event of a threat to the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country. But I don't think that such a case has come yet. There is no such need at this time, he said. Now, we also heard something similar from Russia as well. So I'm curious if they might have mixed up the quotes here. That's the only reason for my confusion, trying to figure out who said this, if they misplaced the quote. But we heard this from Russia, saying that they would consider using nuclear weapons if their sovereignty and territorial integrity was threatened. Now, I'm also reading here where they're saying the United States is saying this as well. And the United States is taking this into consideration. This was Friday. Then we're hearing that just in the last 24 hours, NATO said the same thing. And then today, Russia is saying this is a major escalation of tensions to have the United States and to have NATO both saying that they're taking into consideration, taking out of storage and preparing and having on standby, ready for detonation, nuclear weapons against Russia. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I see we've got 1,424 people on with me live. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you appreciate the updates. Also, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. And as always, I cite all the sources so you know it's the latest information. This just coming out today, the response from Russia saying that this is an escalation of tensions. What is being spoken of by the United States and NATO? D. Anderson is saying we might make the elections. Darlene is saying thank you. Somebody said, Steve, you're all over TikTok. Yes, I've only got one TikTok, and that's Steve Ram 3, but there's like so many people impersonating me, and I've reported them to TikTok. They do nothing. TikTok actually takes me down for some reason. I don't understand. I always have to reinstate my account. Ugly Bear 90, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Appreciate it a ton. Let's see here. John Siliberto says every day is the end of the world on this channel. John, just reporting for you guys the latest information, and also I'm citing them in the description. Also, if you missed my live on Saturday, wasn't the end of the world, but a lot of people viewed that video, the live stream, as the news came out that the House of Representatives passed the bill to automatically instate people for registration for a draft, as we're hearing that there potentially could be a draft that would be needed if we went to war, as we only have 1/10 of the U.S. reserves that we had 50 years ago when they last took the draft away. And they're saying it's a significant decline in enrollment. Various U.S. military armed forces are not meeting their goals right now. Absolutely incredible. If you missed it, check it out. That was Saturday. I uploaded that. Friday night, the House passed it. Nobody seemed to have known about it. I shared it with you guys on that live. MPAC661, thank you for the $10 super chat, says, do you get the feeling that this is just a chest puffing or superpowers due to the rise in BRICS and the de-dollarization of the world, says MPAC. Thank you for the $10 super chat, MPAC, and that is a very loaded question right there. So yes, I feel like there is a little bit of back and forth of chest puffing, people flexing their nuclear power, their dominance. And right now, Russia is going to war with Ukraine. A lot of people saying that it's the first phase of a multi-phased domination, trying to reinstate the USSR as it was before with Russia. As far as the BRICS and the de-dollarization, that's an entirely different topic, I feel like, in regard. I mean, they could be tied together, but you're talking about economic situations right now with the global conflict that's taking place. I feel like there's a couple different elements involved. One is actual domination of the area. The other one, that is an economic situation. And that definitely could play a part into the motivations for Russia. As you know, United States is a nuclear power and an economic power. Russia is a nuclear power. The United States and Russia together hold 88% of the world's nuclear weapons. So those two right there are the vast majority by far. There's no one that comes close to Russia and the United States in nuclear powers. And I believe that the Russia actually exceeds. I believe Russia is the #1 nuclear power in the world. Second coming close, I think, is the United States. Don't quote me on that, but I believe the last I saw, that's where they currently stand. Now, as far as economic global powers, the United States and China, Russia is not an economic power. So the economic issues definitely could be a driving element. Russia trying to increase and improve their economics. A lot of people speculating that Russia would not even be as far along as they are with the war in Ukraine, which many suggest has actually been a failure on the part of Russia, taking several years and not getting very much progress. But they wouldn't even be where they are today if it weren't for economic support from their ally, China. China being a very strong economic power. So that definitely could be a part of it. Absolutely. There definitely could be. There's probably several motives. Like I said, that's a very loaded question that would take a while to dive into right now. But without a doubt, things are increasing. There's a lot of tensions, and there's probably a lot of motivations involved. And again, thank you for the $10 super chat. Dennis Clark, thank you for the $10 super chat as well. Says, if I was to have to go to fight for war, I'd go fight for Israel, not for Biden and for the corrupt Ukraine. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Dennis Clark. And if you actually if you saw my live, let me know if you saw it, Dennis. In that live stream, I actually mentioned the massive decline and a lot of the quoted reasons for why they're saying that there is not a lot of U.S. military support at this time. Very fascinating. The reports coming out from the Department of Defense saying that actually right now, I think it was like, if I remember correctly, 77% of the current generation that's ages 18 to 26 that could be drafted if we were to reinstate the draft. They're saying 77% of them would not be able, they would not be eligible due to health conditions, due to crime records, due to not being physically fit enough. They're saying a lot of obesity in the generation, not meeting the educational requirements, simply not being smart enough, educated enough to be able to be considered safe to operate weapons. They're saying that the current generation is down significantly. Now, in addition to that, we also heard that there are families that have served in the U.S. military in various branches for generations. There are military families, only about a third of them that currently exist are recommending that their children continue on the legacy of serving the United States. A dramatic drop in recent time. They're saying 2/3 that have done this for generations, their fathers and fathers before them, are now saying to their children, I do not recommend that you move forward supporting this nation. And it was the Blue Stars Family Research that I provided for you in that video. They said that there were a number of various different reasons, but a lot of them were saying that today, what the United States stands for, it does not hold the same values that these families that have served our country for generations stand for. They're saying what the United States stands for today and what these families stand for that are American citizens, members of the military, they're saying they no longer align. The values, the things that they believe in, they're saying that the United States is going off. And literally they used in that report the word woke. They said the United States has gone woke, and that they're saying we are not willing to put our children, sacrifice them potentially to support a nation that doesn't have the same values and beliefs that we have anymore. They said that this nation has just gone astray, and we are not willing to make that sacrifice anymore. Not for us, not for our children. And they're saying that that is one major contributing factor to the drop that we're seeing right now, in addition to the fact that a lot of them just aren't eligible for whatever reason, 77%. But in addition to that, the sentiment of supporting the United States and what they stand for has dropped significantly as well. That being cited as a huge reason for why there is no longer as much support. And I also shared with you in that live stream as well how they said that the U.S., I believe it was Marines, was the only branch of the U.S. Armed Forces last year that actually met its goal. The Navy, the Air Force, the Army, all of them falling short, people not supporting the U.S. Armed Forces anymore. So, yeah, you're right. I think there's a lot of people that share your sentiment. And again, thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that a ton. I will continue to keep you guys up to date on everything as it unfolds. Also, in that live stream, I let you know that we heard that even though that passed in the House of Representatives, unlikely to pass in the Senate, but not because people don't want, the members of Congress don't believe in the draft, but because there are other, what they call poison pills or hidden items in that bill that the Democrats in the Senate won't support, so it's unlikely to pass through. But if it was a standalone for the automatic registration for the draft, it sounds like it would pass. But we will see. Like I said, I will keep you guys up to date. And a lot of this, as we've heard over the last maybe about half a year or so, that this would be coming, potential registration automatic to get people enlisted for a draft. That could happen if we go to war because of all of the global conflicts and tensions that have been taking place. And I shared with you right before we entered into 2024, they were saying 2024 was the year of war. That is what they predicted would be coming. And it seems like it has been spot on. And then today, as I mentioned, the breaking news coming out that Russia saying that tensions are being escalated by the United States and NATO with their statements that have unfolded over the weekend, that the U.S. and NATO are now setting aside more nuclear weapons on standby, taking them out of storage, preparing them for potential nuclear war with Russia and China. They're saying with the threats that are currently taking place. So some pretty incredible news coming out today with this response from Russia. Now, do me a favor. I see we've got 1,700 people live with me in the room. Please hit that like button if you have not yet done so and you appreciate the breaking news updates. If I can only get 70 more likes, we can have over 1,000 likes in the room. Also, subscribe to stay up to date. A lot of people letting me know that they've been unsubscribed for some reason or another. If you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, stay up to date on everything with the breaking news coming out. I will let you know everything as we have these conflicts, these global conflicts all over the world. In addition to that, we recently heard that there was 8 members that crossed the southern border into the United States trying to coordinate attacks in Los Angeles, New York, and Philadelphia. They were arrested. After that, we had a lone wolf actor that was trying to do a physical attack in the city of New York as well. And also more coming out from the US government. I'm going to be sharing this with you in an upcoming video that they're saying there is another attack planned on the United States, similar to what we saw with 9/11, that coming out as well. So I'm going to be sharing with you that in an upcoming video as there was more over the weekend. Like I said, I'll make sure that you guys are up to date on everything because there's a lot taking place in the world right now. And I believe that we need to stay informed on everything that's going on. So, yeah, again, so for everybody coming in today a little bit late, what we have is just in the past couple hours this morning, we're hearing that Russia is saying that NATO and the United States, what the remarks that have unfolded is escalating the tensions. The United States and NATO both saying that they're considering taking their nuclear weapons out of storage, putting them on standby, set and ready for potential attacks with the threats coming from China and Russia. So a lot unfolding today, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I see we've got over 1,700 people in the room with me, 1,725, 1,095 likes. Thank you so much for that. And as always, if you want to read these for yourself, what's coming out today on this, they're linked in the description. Anybody that hits the join button, they will automatically pop up when you become a member in your feed after the live stream. I will share these with you. But in addition to that, all you got to do right now, it's all over the news, is just Google NATO nuclear, and you will see all the articles popping up on what it was that Stoltenberg had to say this weekend, and that the United States as well, saying that they need to bump up their nuclear arsenals. And today, the breaking news that Russia responded saying that you guys, the United States and NATO, you are escalating the tensions with us and leading us potentially to World War III. So absolutely incredible news coming out today. Without a doubt, tensions are increasing between the Russia, the United States, and the NATO. Jamie saying, great job, Steve. First with the news again. You are very welcome. And yes, this coming out about 3 hours ago. So I've seen a couple of news outlets reporting on this already. But I'm thinking maybe you're saying maybe the first on YouTube. Haven't seen a whole lot out on this, but this coming out directly from, they're saying the Kremlin, from Russia. They're saying that the United States is being blamed and NATO for escalating tensions with Russia. Let's see here. Somebody said, Lizzie G Music says, I know that the Bible speaks for us not to fear, but it is hard not to worry. Lizzie G, and anybody that is seeing this and they're thinking this is concerning, I would say it is concerning, but I would also say that I agree with you. The Bible says that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but he is, so I would recommend that if you are feeling anxious or worried or afraid, just do whatever you can to prepare. If you're a believer, say a prayer. Pray for our world, pray for our nation. I believe in prayer. And also, I would just say, too, as well, that if you think that there's potential, for things to go really bad, we always just get prepared. I always say on the channel, don't be scared, be prepared. Make preparations for you and your family. And it's better for us to know what's going on, not to stick our head in the sand and pretend like nothing's going on, because then if something does take place, that's when you're hit and caught the most off guard. So that's why here on the channel, I always try to do whatever I can to make sure that the people on my channel are prepared. That's why in the description as well, I've got those additional resources. And pinned in the comments for you is www.steveramnews.com. So that way, if something happens with communications, I've got my channel prepared so that way you can get updates via email. And also, if you need medications, if there are electrical power grid failures, we're getting resources available for people as well. Let's see here. Sue saying, thank you so much for all that you do, Steve. I don't know how you deep dive into all the reports and still have time for your paying job. Thank you for that, Sue. I actually have a couple of different businesses that I operate, and so I just do everything on my own schedule, and just try to make sure that I keep up with everything going on, keep people updated, and then also keep my businesses going. Appreciate that, and I'll do my best to keep you guys up to date as well. Somebody says, how have you prepared your home and your family? It's a great question. So they say food, water, any additional resources you might need. If you feel like you need ammunition, additional cash, if you need a backup generator, medications, paper maps in case you can't use your phones. There's a whole list of things. Fuel for your vehicle. You might even want to have some Faraday kits to make sure that if there is an EMP blast, that you don't lose power to a lot of your items. There is an assortment of different things that you'll want to stay prepared for in case we were to have some sort of fallout take place. So these are some of the things that you can do without a doubt. But like I said, I will keep you guys up to date as more comes out. And this just came out 3 hours ago. So I'm expecting there's going to be more unfolding on this. And as it does, I'll keep you guys up to speed on everything. But that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you in the next one. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't done so. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.